Well, hello Track Gang, and welcome to episode 24 for 2022. It happens to be June 10th of 2022, and, well, I'm Ray. Welcome aboard again. Going to do something a bit different with the camera setup tonight. I decided after the last video and looking at a few of them in the past that having the ring light on in this position where I'm at the table, things were a little too washed out. So we're going to see how this works or how this looks, and if it doesn't work out, then when I go into episode 25, then we'll turn the ring light back on. Or if I change positions, we'll see how it goes. Since the picture quality was a little washed out, or has been a little washed out, I am going to re-show the building and some of the detail work that's been done with around the windows and such on this one piece, because that's the only one that I've actually tackled so far. And there was a reason. I was starting to get a little frustrated with trying to tackle the architectural details on this building. So today, after having some other family things that had to be taken care of and doing some work to the house, I went ahead and I made a run to the local Home Depot and picked up some more blue painter's tape because this roll is just about shot. So what I'm going to attempt to do here in a little bit is tape off some of these architectural details so I can actually get in and actually paint them without possibly messing up the base coat on the walls. I'm hoping that by doing that I don't take too much of the paint that's on there off. So we're going to test it, we're going to see what happens, and we'll be back in a bit as soon as I figure out how to turn the camera back off. Well, to be honest, at this point, I don't know what's worse, trying to freehand paint these stupid things or trying to tape them off, but I got them taped off. As you can see, on the three sides of this. Now, one of the other things that I did do while I was here is I actually drilled out, and I don't know if it's going to even show up, but there's right now, oh yeah, they do show up. Right next to that big window, I was talking about it last episode that I was going to try and use a piece of wire to go from the building down to this dude. It's basically an awning that sits over top the door on the side, and I actually drilled holes in the awning as well, not where the original plastic pieces were, because my drill bit's a bit too large, and it's unfortunately the smallest bit that I've got. So the hole's a little bit big, but I think once I go ahead and I get the wire in there, it may not be too bad. I've got some ideas as to how I'm going to do it, but I've got the other annex, and to be honest, thankfully the main building doesn't have the architectural detail that the two annexes or the two side pieces have. So I'm going to go ahead and tape this one up, and I'm also going to go ahead and drill those 2 holes. So that way this one will be ready, and then hopefully maybe tomorrow I might actually be able to start getting back to doing some paint on these architectural details on Union Station, and we'll see how that plays out. Yeah. Yeah, this is a pain. Especially with, and it's not so much, you know, even though the building was already put together at one point, these architectural details were already a part of the building. So now, obviously, and I'm sure somebody's going to ask the question if they haven't already, and that is, do I even have, oh yeah, I do have the microphone on. Nice time to check, Ray. Blooper! Why aren't you using your airbrush? You know, you got the compressor, so on and so forth. Well, a couple of things. First off, I don't have any way of really venting a airbrush booth down here. Those that have been here know that all the windows except for one are block windows. In other words, they've got the architectural glass block in them. I have a feeling at one point in time there was a water intrusion issue down here, and they decided instead of leaving the windows, they got rid of them, basically. So it is what it is. That window, although it functions, there's no way of making a small or putting something over there to where I could vent it out. The other issue is that window is right next to the furnace and water heater. Now, obviously, it's the summertime. I don't have to worry about the furnace turning on, but I still have to worry about the water heater. So I'm like, I really don't want paint fumes that close. Even though acrylics don't have those fumes, you still have that possibility. Okay, well, you have a garage. Fair enough. I found out the other day, because we're actually having the windows on the first floor redone, that the window in the garage is non-functioning. In other words, you can raise it up, but it automatically just slams right back down again. Apparently the weight or the sash weights that are inside or the springs are shot. Either way, that window is no good either. So here we sit doing everything by hand. And to be perfectly honest, if you saw what I did with the county courthouse, the DPM kit, I did that completely by hand. So I'm kind of used to it. It's a bit more of a pain in the butt, there's no question. The other issue with this building, even if I did have the airbrush set up, is the fact that you still have the windows, which means instead of just having to do the around the outer edge, you'd have to block off all the windows as well. That's quite all right. Yeah, we're not going to go there. We're going to do this by hand and see how it turns out. So stick around because, well, you know me. Okay, Track Gang. This thing is a beast. It was a beast before, and it's even more of a beast now, but so the whole building, for the most part, the main part of the building, I still have to paint the trim around the top, down the sides here, the foundation in this line here still needs to be done. So that is going to be part of the next part of this, but this is where we're at with the two side pieces. There are a few mistakes, I get it, and I still have to go back and do the same thing. I got to paint the side, or this gray down here, the foundation gray. Like I said, I wanted to paint the doors. I've got the piece of trim up here to do. I've got the top part that still needs to be done. So those will be done in gray. So that isn't going to be too hard. And I've got to paint the doors. So that is my project for this evening. at least for the next 45 minutes or so. So I'm going to hop to it, and we'll be back in a bit. All right. Happens to be Wednesday now. Anyway, happens to be Wednesday. And I'm extremely happy. I've got some touch up to do. I'm not sure how well that's going to show up. But when I was peeling the tape did a wonderful job. The problem is some of it got a little too stuck, and I ended up peeling some of the paint off on here. And I've also noticed, like I said, I've got some touch up to do where either the paint bled, or I just didn't have it. Taped off correctly, which is no big deal. It's minor, all things considered. Now, one of the things that did happen when I was messing around with this piece is when I was trying to rotate to paint it, the front on this side actually came loose. So a little bit of crazy glue on the back side, and well, yeah, that's not a problem anymore. Actually, it came loose back here. So, but this is 100% done now. Now, on the sides here, if you notice, there's still some gray. I have to wait until I put this building together to actually see what is going to get painted what color. I'm thinking that if it's this tan color on this side, it's going to get the tan color on the opposite side. I just have to see where the roof line sits and so on and so forth, but I can't do that till I put it together. Which brings me to something else. I'm not going to put this 100% together yet because I've got something else that I need to do to this building. And that requires some of this. So, I'm hoping next week I'll get a chance to show you all what I'm going to be doing with this building and fixing some of the, like I said, this week is going to come down to fixing some of these issues that I've got on here, but for the most part, I'm pleased with how it turned out. I've just got touch up to do, which is the same problem that I had when I did the DPM kit. When you get done, you're always going to find things that you missed, and not to mention the fact that depending on how the building goes together, there may be other work that needs to be done as well. So there's always going to be something that I'm going to have to touch up on this building. Now, with that being said, I'm going to go ahead and make those adjustments and make those fixes and do the other thing that I want to get done. But I also want to bring over the 5 storefronts and the KFC, because I need to paint those up as well. At least the dark paint on the inside to help with the light bleed issues. So those will be coming over at some point, probably maybe this week. There was one other thing. There was a clock right there, and I kind of taped that off because I was like, I don't want to mess up the clock. Well, when I pulled the tape off, it pulled the clock off. So thankfully, somebody was nice enough to send me some decals, which has the clock on it still. So I'll go ahead and I'll put the clock on back on there as well. One of the things I am going to do too is I want to cut out at least one of the letters on this old Union Station sheet that I had, and I want to lay it against the building to see if this color and that coloration is going to work. If not, then I've got to come up with some sort of a plan to make that stand out. And I've got some ideas. I've got some ideas as to how I might do that. So stick around. That's going to be another one of those neat little idiosyncrasies that's going to have to be dealt with. So other than that, I'm going to call this video done for this week. Couple of things, other things of note here real quick. I've got Sidetrack Sunday this week. That is the 19th. That's Father's Day. I might be a little late. We'll see. We're having some friends come over for Father's Day, so I got to see how that's going to play out. But the other thing is I know that myself and Rick and so on, we've all hit the 500 mark. I've got to get some things together, and then we'll be hopefully holding a contest here within the next week or so for the 500 subscriber contest. At least for me. I don't know what Rick's up to. Gotta wait and see what happens there. But you all know the deal. Wait for the highball. Green tracks ahead. We'll catch you all next time. Be safe. God bless. We will see ya.